Hello, beautiful souls. This is Sadhana. Welcome to my channel. And welcome to number 19 of my deck combination videos. I haven't done one of these in ages, and I have had so many requests for deck pairings with Tarot of the Sidhe. So I thought I would begin with that today. I think one of the issues in pairing decks with the Tarot of the Sidhe is that it is such a strong dynamic deck. The colors from most of the cards are so vivid and bright, and very few tarot decks match that kind of energy. When I'm working with the Tarot of the Sidhe, don't tend to use an oracle deck with it, and so this question has been bothering me for some time to just try to find that perfect match. And in the process of going through this, I think what I am going to do is purchase the Dragon Oracle cards, the ones that are illustrated, and I'm just looking at the author's name here, by Carla Lee Morrow. The guidebook is by Diana Cooper. And I noticed also on Amazon there's a couple of new dragon decks that are coming out very soon. And so I'm also going to have a look at those as well too, and purchase probably one dragon deck because I think it would pair beautifully with this. And if you do have one of the dragon tarot decks, that might work as well too, but I don't tend to pair tarot with tarot. So let's have a look at what's going on here. So we have Maker 9, which is the 9 of Pentacles, and just really get the feeling of this card. We have such beautiful harmony and balance with the water in the foreground, the solidity of the tree, we have the green of the grass, we have the setting sun. It's so peaceful and calm and secure and safe. The key word is root and blossom. So you really want to feel the energy of the Tarot of the Sidhe, and that's how I've come to work with it. Really important to pick up on the energy of the elements. And if you do have a favorite oracle deck that speaks to the elements, then regardless of its color, you might want to try that. And I have gone through many of my oracle decks, and I've never found that perfect one. So in this search, I'm going to today do these readings or do these examples with cosmic reading cards, because I think it is one that definitely is going to bring out or match the intensity of the energy in Tarot of the Sidhe. And so here in the middle of this really peaceful Maker 9 and the Sun card, we have the keyword communication. We have the wolf looking up towards this gorgeous intuitive face. It's also a number 9, so you want to look to that. I'm also looking at the 9 that's there in the sun. And so one of the things, I know it's 19, but I see the 9, the 1x. So I'm going to speak to that in a reading. I'm going to speak to, let me grab my chopstick. I'm also going to speak to these two faces here, because they seem to be sharing a very similar kind of energy. And you can see that the third eye is lit up here, and we've got some kind of a diamond shape in the third eye as well here too. There's also a lot going in the background of this picture. So look to the details in the Tarot of the Sidhe, because sometimes it's those details that are going to help you with your reading. So I'm going to give you another example here. So here we have a card with more stronger color than that 9, Maker 9. Ooh, and I love this card. It's one of my favorite cards in the Tarot of the Sidhe, the Warrior King, the King of Fire, Gift of Glory. So when I'm just turn this over, the first thing that I'm seeing is the light and the strength. And what a perfect reinforcement card for the Gift of Glory, for the Warrior King. Be fearless. And before I saw the keyword, what was coming up for me was the light and the light. The other thing that I play with all the time in readings is shapes and symbols. And I'm looking at this reading from a side angle, and I see this shape here where the tree has been cut. And I'm looking at the concentric circles. I'm looking at the concentric circles here, and I'm looking over to this card and looking at the concentric circles, and actually in a couple different places in that card. And so I'm going to allow that energy to be part of the message, be part of the reading. And I love how the elder has her hands kind of over and is working with the healing energy of the tree. So this tree has been cut down. The elder is here, I'm thinking, with closed eyes. And so not only is she in tune with the energy of the tree that is still living, but working on the healing here. And then we also have this dragon energy here as well too. So work with the details, work with the subtleties, work with the subtle lines. I'll give you one more with this beautiful oracle deck. I'm going to say that's my favorite card. I love this card. I love the kohl around her eyes. I never wear, or I've never been one to wear that much makeup, but people who wear it well, wear it well. And it's such a mysterious, mysterious look. And I want you to look at the boat here, the shape of this boat, almost mirroring the shape of the kohl around her eyes, right? And also look at the shape of what is being, the part of her face that is being, that is shown is very similar to this, the shape of this boat here. And that just all speaks to me. These cards are being drawn in totally random order. And when you get two decks that energetically like to be near each other, this is the kind of thing that happens. And so I want to thank you for this prompt, because I have been searching, and I think this one is a perfect example of what works really well. Over on the far side, we have the Dreamer Queen. The Dreamer Queen is facing away from this, the intensity of this queen that's in the center of the reading. She looks like a queen to me. She's obviously has a lot of self-worth, but through, in her culture, part of her culture is covering up her face. And so this is a reminder for me to dig deep and to see that self-worth within. And part of this reading is going to be the journey to that self-worth, or the journey through that self-worth. For some reason, the boat is moving in this direction. So the Dreamer 6 here is moving this way, and the Dreamer Queen is moving in the opposite direction. So there's some challenge here with working with self-worth in this reading. So again, these are just examples, and no particular question has been asked, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a flavor for how I approach challenging readings or decks or cards that have so much going on within them. So I want to give you another example. And I'm going to replace the Cosmic Reading cards with Flowers of the Night, which I find is a really versatile oracle deck. Okay, I've got it, the cards right way up. And you'll notice there's quite a bit of black in the previous deck, and there's quite a bit of black in this deck. And there's an intensity to black. Everything is consumed with black. And so I would never choose a pastel colored deck or a light energy to work with Tarot of the She. You would think that would be complementary, but I feel like it just needs that intensity. So let me pull a few more cards for you. Maker 7. Love that card. There's something about the Tarot of the She. I really enjoy working with this deck, and when I decided to commit to it, if that's a commit to working with it. I think it was a period of, it was last year, there was a couple of months where I decided I was not going to put it away, and I just fell in love with it over again. So really beautiful. Now what I'm seeing here is this bit of color inside this flower mirroring this here. So if you look at her, it almost looks as if she is inside a flower. So what does that say to you? Look at the hair. I'm assuming it's a hair, the ears, and what's happening here with the standing stones. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And this is the kind of stuff that comes forth when you pair decks really well. They just somehow find a way to support each other through the reading. And so we have intuition in the center with desert thorn apple. That always reminds me of Outlander. I remember when, anyway, totally different, probably different species. Don't get me talking about Outlander or Droughtlander, like is going on right now. And Dreamer King. Okay, so super intense card. Look at the shape of the sword here. Look at the intensity of the dragon, mirrored here, mirrored here. So there's something about the connection of the standing stones to the ears of the rabbit, to the sword of the Dreamer King, to the intensity of the dragon. And you want to allow those things to speak to you. And again, we have the eyes of the dragon, which are mirroring the dress of the woman here and this reddy color here. So allow those kind of things to come forth in your reading. And you never know what might come out of your mouth if you just trust that you got this, right? They're challenging decks. If you find Tarot of the She challenging, it's just a matter of kind of stepping back, step out of your head, allow the cards to do the talking is always my best advice. You know, when people are having a hard time working with a deck, or they say things like, oh, I can't work with that deck. So yeah, so here, go to the green. Go to the green. I'm asking myself why this person, woman, doesn't want to face the jaguar. Why doesn't she want to face her achievement? Why is she moving away from her achievement? What has happened? And so those kind of questions perhaps will be answered through the question that was asked. Or if the person didn't. Oh, we have the moon. Of course we have the moon. And the moon is challenging. Sometimes we don't want to face what is in our shadow, what is in the shadows, but the light of the full moon is always going to illuminate that which we don't want to look at. And this figure over in Dancer 5 does not want to look at it. So just allow that to come forth, but there's a card of encouragement. There's a card of support in the center. I'm looking like that cat to me looks quite youthful. So I'm thinking that is going to come up. And also we have the illumination here in this Dancer 5, right? So we have illumination of the sun through the clouds. And here we have the illumination and the nighttime. This is also, of course, this is a deck of darkness, right? This is the flowers of the night. So all of the flowers in this deck come to bloom during the dark hours. All right, last one, because I don't have a dragon deck to show you. Dreamer 9. Dreamer 9. What's going on? Strength. Rose of Mexico. Sorry, I'm reaching across. I decided to sit over here on the side today. Sometimes when I do these, well, I haven't done one for ages, but I find if I'm looking at the cards from a different angle, I see different things. So sometimes it's great. It's a good time. Sometimes it's good to position yourself so you're not looking at the cards head on. Things might come up for you in that way. So look at the contrast of the moon versus the sun. And what's between the moon and the sun? Strength. Strength is between the moon and the sun. So just start your sentence there and then allow your voice to grow. Allow your voice to grow stronger. Allow the reading to build, right? So keep it really simple. Don't worry about, oh, it's dancer princess. What suit is that as dancers? What suit is dreamers? Just look at the pictures, talk to the pictures, and allow them to start to tell a story. And then once you have kind of done that, then you can go to the guidebooks if you want, and the beautiful poetry of Emily Carding and the Tarot of the She, and allow that to support the reading. And then go to the information in the guidebook of Flowers of the Night and see what the Rose of Mexico is all about. But there's something about the church. There's something about the sacredness of the flower. There's probably something about what's going on in the church at night, you know, like so many stories are going through my mind. But just listen carefully to the question and make sure you're answering the question first. All right, and then go to your intuition and then go to the guidebooks. The second tarot deck that I'm using today is Liz Houston's Dreamkeepers Tarot. And this is a deck that I was really excited to get when it first came out as a Kickstarter. And then when I received it, found it extremely challenging to work with. And it wasn't until I did the gratitude challenge with Jen from Science to Soul Tarot this year that I pulled out this deck again in combination with other dreamy decks and started to really embrace it and work with it. And it is one of those, because I've been working with the Falarcos Tarot and I pulled out the Shemanet again, and Ember and Aura, and more decks that are diving deeply into dreams and things like that. Maybe that's why I'm feeling more comfortable with this deck. Oh, there we have a moon head. So it's the disconnected heads, I think, that makes this deck a little bit challenging for some people. In the center is the Hidden Worlds, Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. The artwork is by Gilbert Williams, and the guidebook is by Lucy Cavendish. And this is not brand new, but fairly new to me in my collection. And I want to thank Sandra at the Whispering Well for this recommendation. It's a really beautiful deck. It was in her Lockdown Helpers video that she shared it, and it's a very special deck. So we'll look at that in just a second. Let's look at the two cards on either side of this reading. We have the King of Cups and we have the Eight of Cups. So emotion, lots of emotion. The Eight of Cups is moving towards the left, and the King of Cups is disconnected. The King of Cups has there's a stem and there's the moon overhead. It's a partial moon, and depending on whether you're in the north or the south, the moon is waning or the moon is waxing, and that's entirely up to you how you interpret that. But there's something in process, and I don't want to always slam the King of Cups, but the King of Cups is either completely in touch with his emotions or a little bit separated. And I know you get that in a lot of cards. It is a card of separation in many, many decks, but here we have this kind of weird separation from emotions. And it looks like this woman here is giving up and moving to the left. So let's see if we can get some clarity with the Hidden Worlds. Now I turned the cards this way because many of these cards are horizontal cards and this one is not. This is the Tree of Illumination. It's gorgeous. Truth, revelations, and understanding. And so perhaps in separating for a time, the energy of this relationship, I'm assuming the question would have been about a romantic relationship. It's best. It's best. And there will be some clarity that will be gleaned through space apart. And that is definitely reinforced by the card in the center. So I wanted to show you some of the horizontal cards. There's one. And I think the color of Oracle of the hidden worlds fits really well with this Dreamkeepers Tarot. So there we have the Three of Pentacles. So let's just kind of look at these two cards and build the reading from here. So open like the lotus, flowering spirit, revelation and maturity. There is a sacredness, there is a sacred awakening and opening to the card in the center, to the metaphor of the lotus, the lesson, the teachings, the mantra of the lotus. And so look here at the card on the left. Looks very much like a Two of Cups. They're holding something between the two of them, holding hands. You see their reflection in the water. And why is this a Three of Pentacles? And so depending on what, the question has come up, there's a reason. Maybe this is about a soulful partnership that's taking a business turn. Who knows what that is? But there's definitely also transformation, like they're growing into this relationship. And it feels like a very positive reading so far. And then over here, definitely that is supported, right? So we have the Nine of Pentacles. And so my advice would be to the querent to allow the relationship to blossom and to continue to step forward. But maybe, sometimes we don't want to enter into business with those that we love. There's some people might call it common sense. Other people, we all have different perspectives on that. But I would say this is definitely an affirmative answer if there was a question like that. Okay, let's do another one. So we have some kind of water arms here on the stern looking woman. In the background there is a boat, two boats. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. So allow yourself to kind of build the picture. What's going on in the picture? The arms are tentacles. And what does that say to you? How do you respond when you see arms like that? And for me, I'm thinking about clinging. I'm thinking about an unhealthy relationship with too much clinging. It kind of came up for me today in several readings. Like, why are you holding on so tight? What is that about? How are we going to weave that into the Five of Swords? The Five of Swords. We have choices to engage or to not engage. Do we need to address the whole idea with miscommunication? There's definitely a separation here. There's perhaps a mirror on either side of her. People moving in different directions. Is there a victor here? Start to tell your own story. And that story will become abundantly clear based on, the question. Or what you're picking up from the person you're reading for. Spirit of spring. Freedom, action, and power. This looks like a pretty powerful woman over here. Maybe this question had some timing questions. Sorry, maybe the querent had a timing question. Then you have a potential answer over here. Okay, and then what does this other card say? So I'm loving the color, the softness of the colors of these two decks, for sure. Look to the moon. The cloudy energy here. The Fool is moving toward the spirit of spring. The Fool is wanting to face the Five of Swords. Right? It's a very courageous Fool for wanting to move towards her stuff or his stuff. And there's a moon behind. So this is about facing challenges. It's about facing the stuff from the past. It's about facing the karmic patterns. So just allow whatever arises for you to arise. And do your best. I mean, of course you can read the guidebooks and try to weave it together. But my best advice for anyone, even experienced readers, is to maybe get out of your head. turn the chair, go to the other side of the table, and just allow your readings to evolve. The next oracle deck I'm pairing with the Dream Keepers is Divine Muses Oracle by Marie Bento. This oracle deck comes with a fantastic guidebook. I would strongly recommend this deck for any kind of dream work, past life readings, and I used it, I believe, in a couple of different videos. I'll try to look it up and link those videos in the description box below or in cards above. I know I have done a comparison video between the Divine Muses Oracle and the Victoria Mosley's deck, the Victorian one that looks so similar. But I think this is a better choice. It's a little darker deck, and I think that energy fits the Dream Keepers well. So, ooh, this is Queen of Roses. Queen of Cups kind of energy, very antique. And Two of Cups. Okay, so we know the answer to the question, right? Yes, the answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. We almost don't need to turn over the third card. Well, there we go, right? It's going to be a very... You can't make this stuff up, people. It's good. It's all good. No need to worry. It's a passionate relationship. It probably will be about a lot more than passion. Even though the King of Wands does tend to be a bit of a wanderer, there may be enough to keep him around for a while. So there's a reason the two of you are together. Well, that was easy. Sometimes it's just easy, you know, it doesn't always have to be difficult. The other thing I like about this deck is that it is tarot size, so there's lots of room on the table if you want to do more than 3 cards. 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords. Look to the wings. I'm looking at the wings. And then I'm looking at those boats that are in the water inside her dress. So the dress has clouds in it. So she's very much in her mind. There's a lot of lunar energy to this card. So just allow that to kind of filter in, to sink in. And here we have the Spirit of Home. 8 of Swords, Spirit of Home. Is she lonely? Does she need to go home? Does she want to go home? Is she longing for home? Has there been a death? Is there some kind of energy linking her to the past? Does going home mean to go home physically? Or can you go home, as an inner journey? And so these are kind of conversations that I would have. The green wings. Talk to the greenery, the background in the Spirit of Home. It feels like this is also going to be quite an easy reading. Oh, and there's that card that keeps coming up for me. So look what we've got here. So we have the 6 of Cups and the Spirit of Home. And this is something that will need to be kind of explored with the querent, or if the querent is you, to what is that energy of longing? What is drawing you to the past? And why is that? Perhaps it's just simple, right? It's just simple. It's just time to reflect on the past. It's not a bad thing. It almost looks like these ships are going home. The ships are sailing home, and there's a reason right now you need to sail home. Inward journey or external journey. Let's do one more. So again, here we have a disconnected moon head on the Queen of Cups. I believe that was the King of Cups we had before. Hers looks lighter, right? It doesn't look quite as challenging as the card of the... Don't want to get these mixed up. These decks look so similar. What was I saying? The King of Cups looked a little gloomier. This one doesn't seem to be so challenging. Like she seems to be at home in her lunar energy, where the king didn't feel quite as home. We have two queen cards here, Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups. Something's going on emotionally. Something's going on with a relationship. Something's going on intuitively. They are looking to each other for support. And so these two aspects of yourself are talking loudly right now. They need to communicate with each other. Your creative, passionate self needs to have a conversation with your emotional self, and they need to come together. What do they need to come together to do? What do they need to come together to say? Oh, so beautiful. The muse of dance. So perhaps the answer to your problems is simply to dance, to move your body with music, to move your body in flow, and, you know, to just feel with your physical body. Yeah, again, sometimes it is easy peasy. Sorry, I'm doing one more. I know I said that was the last one, but I'm loving these combinations. Temperance. So let's look at this temperance. There's a puzzle, the pieces of the puzzle fitting together. Here we have a bird skeleton, some kind of berries on the skeleton. Why is this puzzle piece in her solar plexus area? What does that have to do with anything? We have water here. She is reaching for the puzzle. She's reaching. Is she placing the puzzle piece or removing the puzzle piece? And then here we have another figure with branches. Again, this is not an easy deck to read, so that's what I do. I just start to talk to the picture. Temperance. I know what temperance means, but there's going to be something about the particular image that's going to be very specific for this reading. Totality and infinity. So we have the Ouroboros. We have probably some very profound message hidden in the language of the card. And if we went to the guidebook, we would understand perhaps what that message is in the background of the card. So totality and infinity seem to fit really well with temperance. This is a really important time to bring that temperance, bring that moderation and balance into your life. And that needs to be the focus right now. So if the question was about something else, then guide the querent there. Guide the querent to the commitment to the temperance. And the commitment to the temperance might not be where they want to go at all. It's like, oh, it's easier to check out. It's easier to think things are happening to me rather than for me. And to be in the darkness of the Nine of Swords. It's easier to take the pill than it is to do the work. And this feels very much about doing the work, not taking the pill. And, you know, there's so many different ways to work with the Nine of Swords and to understand that the experience is going to shift in the light. And how do we manage and how do we navigate what goes on during the night? Maybe what's going on during the night has to do with our poor choices during the day. Maybe this really is about moderation. Moderation so that you can physically feel better, so that you can sleep better. Totality and commitment to your own wellness. And of course, we don't know the answer to that unless we have had the question and we're working with a particular querent. As usual, I have many more decks on the table, but I think that's enough for this video, and I will carry on with this theme of tarot decks that are a little more challenging to pair with oracle decks in the next video. So these were the oracles that we looked at: Cosmic Reading Cards, Oracle of the Hidden Worlds, Flowers of the Night. This is the Divine Muses. Not sure if it came with or I ordered the zippered pouch extra. This is the Dreamkeepers Tarot and Tarot of the She, which was the first tarot deck we looked at. So thank you very much for joining me today. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these decks or any of my interpretations of the readings, and I look forward to chatting with you below. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.